Okay, so I think we are live. Hello everybody, welcome to the life of a board gamer. My name is Daniel, as always. So in my last giveaway, I was talking about painting some miniatures because I did not do that for a long time. And then it popped me, why not do it live? Why not? Okay, so we are going to live paint the miniatures for the game Outlive, as you can see right over. Where is it? I cannot show it. Okay, right over here. It says painting Outlive miniature live. Okay, so what you need for this painting Outlive miniature session or whatever it is of course miniatures. You need lots of these. And what we are going to do is called batch painting, where you will paint more miniatures all at the same time. And for that you will need to create something like this, because they're really small and you don't want to go one by one. You just want to go batch paint for lots of different reasons that I will talk to you throughout the video. And how did I achieve this over here? Okay, so basically you get miniatures, and I just took a ruler from my wife and confiscated it. Now it's mine. And then I used this thingy called Uhu Patafix. It actually uses you can see it here, but here it shows basically what you do with it is the kids put posters on the walls and stuff like that, but they're also really good for painting miniatures. Now why? Because, and I will show you this in greater details later when I change the camera and zoom it a little, you can easily pop the miniature off and put it back on and it stays there. It does not go anywhere, and it's really easy to paint. And of course I'm using some brushes, and this one is etched Kolinsky Lucas Meister Rotmander, and I use a Citadel brush for finer details. Now when it comes to the brushes, I bought in my life of painting miniatures, I bought a lot of cheap brushes, and they usually last for about, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 months, no more than that. And when you get some extra cash and buy some good brushes, and if you keep them safe and clean them every time after use, you will basically have them for years. Now these two I have for, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years, and they're still really great brushes with nice pointy tips. And that is that. So let me just rotate camera a bit and adjust some zoom so you can see more easily. And let's start painting the miniatures. Okay, so here's my monitor. Okay, here are the paints. You don't need to see all of them, you just need to know that they're here. Okay, so let's see how this looks. Okay, if I paint like over here, this will be good. I just need to make some zoom adjustments. One moment. Okay, and configure video, camera control, and I think about 90 focus is, let's see, no, it's too much. Okay, let's go with 60. 60 looks good. Yeah, that looks good. Let me just see, and when I paint you can see what I'm doing. Okay, that is really cool. Okay, so I told you about this Patafix, this white stuff that holds this miniature on. Basically it's really something like a bubble gum or something like that, and you just pop it like this and you see it's sticky and it doesn't go anywhere, and you just pop the miniature on, and that's that. It's holding really nice. Okay, so first of all you have to base these miniatures with some spray paint, so the paints are much more easy to apply on. But I don't do this for these little miniatures, because the surfaces are really small and the paint catches really well on them. But if you want, you can do that. And Okay, I forgot to say okay, so yeah, okay, this will be a good zone. Cool. Oh, of course, there's also live chat, so you can ask me anything about my life or about what's up next, because I won't tell you, or maybe I will. Just leave me any questions or anything. And hello to Adele. Okay, so now nice of you to drop by. Let me show you some of the miniatures I already painted. And so, okay, so we got this guy. You see, it's really looking great when they all get painted, and when you have them in your, I don't know if you play the game, but when you have them in your shelter, the game really looks much better when they are painted and they are not gray. So this is the other one, and you can see that I paint them differently, a bit different. Let me just make it like so. Okay, so I paint them a bit differently. That's what you do when you do batch painting. You paint all miniatures but in a different way, so you get this kind of effect because they are not all wearing the same clothes. So for example, we have these two guys. As you can see, there are some subtle differences in type of mask they are wearing and stuff like that. And shall we start painting? Oh, about the paints, let me tell you first about the paints. So basically what I'm using is Vallejo model color paints, but these are also Vallejo, but I got this one from my days of playing Flames of War, which are over because I'm not into miniatures that much, but I still like painting. And washes, I use washes from Citadel range because they are the best washes there is, if you ask me. And for this painting, you'll need Agrax Earthshade and Reikland Fleshhide. You will see the difference between these two. I will explain it all to you when we come to the painting. And here are some more of the miniatures and how differently they look. You see, this one has the fire axe, for example, it's red, and this one just has all plain axe. And you can do that or you don't, it's up to you how you want to paint it. Okay, so basically about the paints, mostly I use darker colors that have gray base, so to say. And like for example, you see this green, how it's basically it's like toned down and when you look at this one is really bright. And I avoid these bright colors when painting these miniatures, but it's okay if you don't have it. If you only have bright colors like this, they will work too, because these washes will do their magic and make all these miniatures look great. Okay, so let's start painting. And about the batch painting, you want to select one color and then go and paint different miniatures with different colors. Like for example, this girl over here, as you can see, let me just rotate it a bit, she has some kind of cape, cloak, or maybe a raincoat or something like that, and they're usually green or gray colors, but you can go with blue and I don't know, different shades of green. So, and she has a bow, and the bow can be all kinds of different brown color. So we'll play with that. And there is also this thingy that holds arrows. I'm not sure. Quiver. I think quiver is the correct answer. Word, not answer. And there is some skin, some boots, and some trousers on her. So basically, first what we are going to do is we are going to paint these. We are going to paint these cloaks or raincoats or whatever they are. And we are going to start with, let's start with this one. And this one is gray blue. You don't have to have this exact color, you give it a shake. Okay, so I'm shaking the color just so you know why this I sounds so funny. And of course we put some on our palette. What is the correct pronunciation of that? Okay, so we put this on a palette, I don't know, it doesn't matter. I have some water over here and I water down the paint a bit just to give it some flow. Wait a bit more. Okay. And now what we are going to do is we are going to start and paint this cloak. Now you can be really messy about it because you will correct everything in further steps. So you basically want to go all over this miniature, and when you are painting this kind of big surfaces, as you can see, I'm having a bit trouble with my brush because it's really for finer details, and I'm going to switch to a bigger brush. Now I also have some cheap brushes, so let's not lie to each other, and these are mainly used, so basically this one, it's some vernissage, I don't know, it's really basically, this is brush I bought so I can destroy it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it because it's really, let me just quickly show you how different they are. You see how big and wide it is. Okay, so that's because I will do this much faster with this kind of brush. Let me just put some water on it just to give it some. Okay, and let's start again. Now you see how we can do this really. I'm sorry if I'm bumping the camera a little. I never did a live painting video, so this is my first video, so I guess they will be better with time if we give it enough time. And that's that. So okay, so this one is not sticking very well. Let's just push it a bit down. Okay, so we now apply this very generously. It's kind of bluish grayish color, and batch painting is really something that this game is made for. So I don't know how to pronounce correctly what I want to say. Okay, what I want to say is this game, these miniatures, there are like 100 and something miniatures in here, and you really want to paint these in a quick and easy way, so you don't lose much of your time, because these miniatures are really tiny and you can do a really fast and great job in a small amount of time. Okay, so when it's come to batch painting, you want to paint all miniatures same, or you want to paint them all different. In this particular case, we want to paint them different. So we are going to do, oh, Vloganje is watching us. That's my friend that also has his vlog channel, but in Croatian, but you can check him out. He's a really cool guy. Okay, so let's continue with painting. And I will skip the second one, I will skip the third one, and I will the fourth one I will paint him in this color. And the reason is I get some random look. You don't want all your miniatures to look the same. They don't wear the same clothes, all of them. They found clothes in different places. There are all kinds of raincoats, for example. There is no only one color of raincoat, of course. And that's the beauty of batch painting, because you can do it and have all kinds of different miniatures but painted all at the same time, which is really cool. And I just got some message. Let me just check it, what it says. Nothing important. Okay, so sorry for this. And oops. Okay, so we painted these two raincoats green. I need to push this one a bit further down, and that's that. Okay, and just to go over this miniature some more. Okay, Okay, so now that we got this all painted up, it's time to switch colors. Okay, so now we just dab some water on the brush and clean it, and the brush is cleaned, and we are going to pick some kind of different color. Let's go with this gray because I really like this gray, green, I'm sorry, gray, this green color, I really like it, and we'll paint two of them with this green color because it's really cool color. And one of them, on one of these miniatures, we are going to cheat a little bit, and I will show you what I mean when I say cheat a little bit. Okay, so just dab some water in the miniature, okay, and load your brush with the paint and start painting. Okay, so this one, raincoat goes green, and that's all there is here to paint. A raincoat, bunch of raincoats. Now I think of these videos as paint with me videos. So basically, if you want, you can take out your paints and kind of follow me on what I do and do something similar, and just so you have somebody to talk to while you paint, because that's kind of what I like to do. I hate painting in silence. I usually paint with my best man, and when we painted, we don't paint that much anymore. Well, he does, I don't. So we usually sat together and talk about stuff, random stuff, and just painted whatever we painted that time. We were in a Warhammer at that part of our lives. Now that part is practically over, and okay, and let's do something. Okay, for this next one, for this one here, we will cheat a little bit. Okay, so what I mean by cheating, I will paint this miniature in green all the way, like she's in some kind of military clothes that you know are all the, oh sorry, I bumped the camera a bit, I'm really sorry about that, but it happens because I have to be really close so you can see what I'm doing, because these miniatures are really small. And we'll just paint her trousers or whatever she's wearing on her legs in the same color of green, because she was in a military and she raided the military compound and got this whole uniform from them, and that's our excuse to paint miniatures a bit faster. Now, you don't want to do this a lot. You really want to do it on a few miniatures here and there, because basically then you will have lots of miniatures looking like that, and it looks okay on really on few miniatures here and there, but if you overdo it, it's really not that great. It kind of looks bad, let's say. Okay, so this one is whole green, and that's that. We cheated a bit. Oh yeah. Okay, so while we are at it, while we are using this green color, we have it still on our palette. I really don't know how to pronounce this word. We are going to do something really cool. We're going to take our finer detail brush and use that green color, and we are going to paint the trousers on this one. So basically you just go really watch that just the trousers get paint, and you paint them like so. Okay, and there's some trousers showing over here, and these are also her trousers over here. And basically, I know I got a little quiet. That's because I'm trying to be as precise as possible. And in this type of miniatures, when they are this small, precision is not that all important, because everything will be hidden away with the washes. So if you do a little mistake here and there, just leave it. Really, it's not worth bothering and all the extra time, because you have like hundreds and hundreds of this to paint. Okay, so this one got green trousers. Now we are starting to getting somewhere, and these are starting to look really cool. And let's pick some other color. Let's say that these two raincoats, these two, we will paint in some different color, and each one will be different color. Well, for the first one, we are going to use some blue gray pale color, and this is, well, almost like the miniature gray, but a bit darker shade. So maybe you won't see any difference on the camera, but there is a difference, and you should definitely paint with gray colors if you have the opportunity and possibilities and whatnot. And let me just dab it a bit, okay, and make it flow better. Okay, now this one we are going to paint. Okay, so this is actually even brighter color. And if you miss some of these deeper parts, have no fear, because the wash, as I already told you, washes will do anything for everything, not anything, everything for you. They are really they really help bring out the miniature in detail and to hide your sloppiness, like mine, for example. Okay, so I know where we are going to use this gray on some other areas, and I keep bumping the camera. I'm really sorry. I will try and get better with different live paintings. If I do them, I don't know how this one will go, and if people like it, I will do some more live painting of the miniatures from the games I have. Just ask me what would you like to see painted, and maybe I will do it. Not that I would not like your proposition, but I am not pro painter by all. Who think that I am, I'm not. I am actually really bad painter, but I just enjoy painting, and I want to share my experience with you, and maybe you learn something, maybe I learn something while painting. Life is learning. Okay, so this one will be a gray color, and I don't know if you can see it, but it's a bit lighter grayish color. I'm not really sure if you can see it. Okay, and while we are at it, we will take this quiver of this one and this one character, and we are just going to paint it with that gray. Now you be careful around these parts, but not too that much careful, just do not go really hard over it. And maybe we will do this one. Let's do this one. This one will also have a gray quiver. Why? Because we can. That's why. Now you never need to explain why something that color, you just do it, because they are your miniatures and you can do with them whatever you want. And I just realized it's really hard to talk to myself. Keep bumping the camera, sorry. So this is really challenging, I must say, all this talking to myself. And let's do one more with this yellow ochre. This will be the last of these, how do I call them, raincoats. Okay, this will be the last of the raincoats, and then we'll go to something that is really cool, and that is painting the details. Okay, so I need to push this one a bit more. It's not sticking very well. Sometimes you have to really stick them on because they want to hold. They don't want to hold on. And now sometimes these paints can be a bit tricky to paint with. Like for example, you see this one. It pulls in the bottom area, and it just slides off the raised part. So that's because I put a bit too much water in it to give it some flow, and it's a lighter color, and by just being light color it's kind of challenging to paint with. And you just be consistent and stubborn when painting with this kind of color, and just paint over it and paint over it, and give it a second coat and a third coat of paint if you want to. It's really just that you have to be persistent with it. That's the word I was looking for, persistent. Okay, so we'll just let this dry for a moment, and we'll skip over here, and these two will get their bow painted with the same ochre that we were just using on the trench coat of this one, because this also looks kind of like a color that would be made of. So it's kind of brownish, and we just do it like this. Okay, and some more color, and we paint it like so, and then we do it like this thing here. Okay, and now don't forget there is a back side, of course. You have to paint this on all sides, and down here. Okay, so always make sure that you painted all around this kind of parts of miniatures, because I usually tend to forget that there is undersides to this that needs to be painted. So sometimes it doesn't get painted, and then you have some kind of looking miniature. Okay, so we'll do some second layer painting, and as you can see I just made a mistake here. Let me just see if I can show it to you. Okay, see over here I made a mistake, and I will come and just repair it as soon as I'm finished with this color, because I just have to remember where the mistake was and come back and repair it. Let me just put some more ochre. I put a little bit of the color, and I needed much more to give this a nice look. Okay, so basically we are done with these two bows, and we can now, you see this one kind of dried up. It's still a bit wet, but if you give it a second coat of that brown color, you will see that it goes much better, and it has better coverage overall. And sometimes you need to go even with 3 or maybe even 4 coats of color, because it's really light paint, and light paints tend to make problems when painting. But even if you don't get it all painted up, and you see like there is some gray tones over here, that's really okay, because when you pop all the other details, and when you paint all other details you will wash this, and wash will make it really look good. So we are just going to come back. Oh, I have some on my palette that it's not yet dried, so I will reuse some of that green to repair that one mistake that I did. Now this is kind of big mistake. You have to repair this. This looks kind of big, and you just go like this and it's done. It's repaired. It's gone. And that's really cool. Okay, and I see some over here. Okay, and while you are at it, you just check the mini and you see all is good, and that's that. Okay, now we are going to use something really silly. We are going to use, what color are we going to use? Let's use a red one. Okay, now this is very bright red. I don't have any other red colors. Now that's really strange to me. I don't know why, but I really don't have them. So I will only use this one, and I'll probably just paint one pants or something like that. And because this red color is something like that ochre I just used, it's really hard to paint with because it really does not have that strong of a pigment, and when you paint with it, it just pulls on the areas and it refuses to cover anything. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to paint these trousers here with red color. Okay, now this maybe looks good, but it really isn't that good, and this color is okay with this scale of miniature, but if you use it on a bigger miniatures, it really doesn't go well. So, and I did mistake. Okay, so this number 2 is really proving a bit challenging from all the mistakes I do. Okay, so I need to fast things up a bit because this video will be long, like few hours, if I don't get things going a bit faster, and if I don't stop bumping the camera. But I want you to see what I'm doing, and that's the reason why I'm bumping the camera all the time. Okay, so it has trousers showing right over here and right over here. Okay, and just because we did a no-no, we have to come back and cover it with some green, and that's that. That will probably do it. And this bow got some color over here, as you can see, and we'll just quickly go over and repair it. And while we are at it, we are going to use this ochre for some other stuff I have in mind, maybe. And okay, so basically we did this over here. No, it's okay. Now I should have let the red color dry first, but it's okay. It's going to work really good. And while we are at it, we are going to use this ochre, and we are going to paint the boots of this one. Now that is really what the batch painting is about. So you can do lots of different miniatures in a really fast and not so much time consuming. And I'm sloppy because the bases will be painted black. This is the last step. When we start painting bases, the miniatures are over, and that will be that. Okay, so we just paint the boots of her in this brown color, and that's that. And of course, oh, let's do this. Let's do this thing over here. Let's paint this quiver in that brown color. Now the batch painting is all about being quick, but still getting a diverse diverse looking miniatures, like you paint them individually, but you didn't. You actually cheated a bit. Okay, so that's that, and there's this little thing over here. Okay, we are done with this color, and we are going to use a much darker brown. We are going to with brown sand now, and we shake it, shake it, and we shake it really good, and we just pop some on the palette that you cannot see because it's not of importance. The miniatures are what is important here. Now with this brown, excuse me, with this brown color, what we are going to do is we are going firstly, let me just shake camera a bit, of course. First we are going to paint these two bows. This bow over here is getting that paint. Now you see it's a bit darker than the one on the left, and that is really what we are after, just to give it some diversity when people look at them. Okay, and this one will also get this brown paint on its. Now maybe I shouldn't have done this on this one because her trousers are not still painted. It's really up to you in what order. You don't have to go like I'm going. You can go more systematically. I already painted lots of these, so I know what I'm after and what I want to paint and how. So it's really up to you if you want to go first all the raincoats, then all the trousers and stuff like that. Okay, so we are done with this one, and we are going to use this brown while we are at it, of course, to paint trousers on this one. So she has like some sort of I don't know, desert camouflaged let's say uniform or dress, whatever you want to call it. And these don't look much of a different color, but they will when you use the wash on them. And that is that. Okay, so okay, you could really use Steadicam for these kinds of videos. No, Steadicam, the cam is steady, my hands aren't, and I'm bumping the camera a lot. And or did you mean something else? I know it's not the best camera, but I had troubles with live stream to make camera work, and this one really works for me when it's down to that kind of stuff. Okay, and let's paint her quiver also with this kind of brown, because she will be all like desert stuff. And okay, like that, and we'll just go and paint this one also with that color. It's really hard to paint with the when you have to think where the camera is and does it show on a camera. so pardon me, and if you cannot see it all that good. And let's paint this one. Let's go up and fast and to fast up to make this project a bit faster. I don't know how to call it. Okay, so now we have all the quivers painted, and that's really cool. That means the job well done. And let's just use on this one that brown color and paint her shoes. Now you see there is no real pattern on how to do this. You just go and do it. You just take some color and see where you can slap it, and you slap it on the miniature, and that's that. That's all there is to painting miniatures. Some people think it's really hard to paint these small miniatures, but I assure you it's much easier than painting those 28mm scale or bigger scale miniatures. These ones are delightful to paint, delightful. And let's see, and let's make this girl pants also brown. Why? Because we can. That's why. That is all there is. We can do it, and we will do it. That's that. That's all the reasoning you need when you paint miniatures. Never listen to anyone telling you, oh, but that's not logical, that's not, I don't know, something. No, it's logical if you want it to be logical, okay? It's logical. And I'm just rambling nonsenses. Okay, and I hit the camera again. And this will happen throughout the video, I presume. Okay, so, oops, but you see, you can see what I'm doing, and that's a most unfortunate. So I don't know if I'm going to do any more of these live painting videos, because these are really hard to do. I must say that they are really more challenging than I thought they will be. But we'll see what the future brings. And let's do what are we going to do next. Okay, now you see, when you are going fast like me, you see this one, how it all paint got all around and all that. Well, that is because I used too much water on the paint. Now you have to be careful when you are doing that. You don't want to thin your paints too much, because then you will get this kind of results, and you really don't want to get this kind of results. So I have to repair this. And that happens when you paint miniatures. Sometimes you make a mistake, and that's really okay. I'm just putting some green so I can repaint this, and that's okay if you do a mistake. You just come back and don't get down about it. I know some people like, oh, I did another mistake, oh, I'm a bad painter. I am a bad painter. I think of myself as somewhat a bad painter, because a good painter would know you would not make mistakes like this. But you don't know that, because not a lot of people paint live, and that is that. We repair it, we go over it a bit. Now it looks kind of different type of green, but it really isn't. When it's dried out, it will be the same green. And let's repair this a bit more. Okay, and we did this. Okay, so I have to kind of paint this close for you to see what I'm doing. I'm just talking a bit to myself. Okay, well, this one I'm leaving the face and those arrows sticking out from the quivers last for a reason. Not some great reason, but it will be much easier for me to paint them at the end. And I think if I have some more paint here, let me just see some. I just saw some mistake I need to It doesn't matter. It's not a mistake. It's not a mistake if nobody sees it. Okay, so this is basically painted. She got her boots and all that painted, and that's cool. And this one needs some painted boots, and this one we said it's all army green. We're gonna leave it like that. This one we need to paint trousers, and this one is okay, and this one also needs some boots and trousers. Okay, so basically, and all the quivers and not all the bows, these two bows are not painted. And let's do this. What are we going to do about it? What color should we use? Okay, let's use dark purple, or just purple. It's called just purple, but it's really dark purple because she's a lady and she needs purple pants for no reason whatsoever. It's just so you give it some diversity in colors. It's okay to use brighter colors from time to time. And this paint covers really well. I know that for a fact. So even if you water it down a bit, it will cover the miniature in a greater detail. And let's just make it like so. Okay, and paint it like so, and like so, and we just dab some paint in here. Okay, so I'm kind of losing light a bit, but we are nearing the finish, so I think we are going to be good. We are going to have enough time to paint all of these minis, and I really like how this purple covers. This purple really covers wherever you go with your brush. It will cover on the first try, no matter how much you water it down. It has really strong pigment. I like that in colors as a painter. Okay, so this one has some purple, as you can see. It has some purple trousers, because why not? Yeah, they are not the best trousers for sneaking, but what can you do? Okay, and now we have 4 boots to paint, and for that we are going to use this red leather from Flames of War painting set, but there is an equivalent. I'm not sure what it's. I think it's even called the red leather. That this is just Flames of War sticker, so they sell it by Flames of War, and basically it's some kind of reddish brown color, and we're gonna use this one to paint most stuff that are left here. So most stuff, when I say most stuff, I mean boots, and we are going to paint boots with this color and just slap it all around. And this is going to be a bit boring part because it's just boots and nothing but boots. Okay, so let me just adjust my position over here. Okay, and my mouth are getting a bit dried up. I think it's because I talk too much, but I have to talk to you. If I don't talk to you, who will talk to you? I would like for you to talk to me. If you are watching this, please leave a comment, just so we can talk about something, and not about how I need better camera, because this is a good camera. I am just bad at making it work. Okay, this is really a good webcam. I'm using webcam for this for a reason, because I could not make my mobile phone, which has much better camera, I could not make it work with I could just not make it work with the internet, and it would not comply and do a streaming for me. And all my videos I record with my phone. I use Galaxy 7, and I'm really okay at how good it is, and how good quality video it can record. And still it's a phone. It's really small, and you can carry it anywhere, and I can film anywhere I want it if I choose so, but I basically don't. I will when we are going to Essen this year. And oh, this one is not her boots painted. We are going to Essen this year, 8 of us. We rented a van, and we are preparing for a 1,600 kilometers drive to Essen. I don't know how much that is in miles for all of you that talk imperial measures, but it's really going to be a cool trip. But I think that at the end of it we are going to be exhausted and nervous and all kinds of stuff, because most of the people that are going on Essen this year never been to Essen. Just 2 of us have been last year, and I've been here before that, and it's going to be a fun ride. Okay, now the boots are over, and like you see, every one of them has their boots painted, and we are just going to paint these 2 bows in the same, I know, boots and bows painted in the same color. Blasphemy. But trust me, no one will notice that, because they will all be looking at your cool painted miniatures, and they will not bother with, oh my god, it's the same color as the boots, what kind of stuff is this, this is stupid, you should feel stupid, and stuff like that. Okay, so don't worry about that. Just paint, because lots of people don't paint, and they should try and paint, because painting is not that really hard. It really is about the patience and just enjoying it, because I really enjoy painting miniatures, and I don't know, it's relaxing, and when it comes from a guy like me, who I have really shaky hands, and trust me, my hands are shaking like crazy, but when I paint they are steady for some reason. I don't know if the painting helped me relax or something, but my hands do get really steady. Like, for example, you see my hand, see how it's shaking, and I'm not faking it, it's really how my hands shake. And when I paint, nothing of that happens. I don't know why. So if you have a shaky hands, please do paint. It's not much of a problem. Okay, so all the bows are painted, all the clothes is painted, and now what we are left with is just the face details and hands, and we are left also with this arrow ends. Okay, for the faces and hands, we are going to use dark flash. So let me just see, I got a message from somebody. Nothing important. Okay, so I put some dark flash on a palette. Really, you don't need much of that color, and I will use the same brush that I used before, this Kolinsky Etched Lucas 2, and I will just smudge it, and I will load lots of paint on it, just lots and lots of paint, because we are going to paint hands first. Okay, so you just go and dab it like here, and there is another hand here, and that's that. And you do this with all of them. You don't have to, whoa, sorry, this was a really big bump on a camera. And you don't need to be very precise about it, because wash, as I already told you, wash will hide every imperfection you did. So basically you just smidge on her hands some color, and that's that. Okay, so that's, and there's two more left. Just let me pick some fresh color and smidge like this, smidge. You can even, maybe if you want to, you can use some I don't know, black or some other color on hands, and maybe make it look like they are gloves and not the hands showing. But it's really up to you if you want to toy with such an idea. Okay, and now we are left with faces. And with faces you want to be a bit careful, but you don't have to be that much careful. You just smidge it like so. And that's that, you see. Let me just see if I can show it too. Okay, so that's like that. And now I made a little mistake here that we will ignore. And then we have this one. Now I have a bunch of paint loaded in the brush, and I just smidge it around, because now while I was talking I made a mistake that I will definitely have to, you see how this one escaped a bit, I'll have to come and repair that. That really won't look good on the miniature. And okay, and this one, basically if you miss some they won't be showing, because this one is kind of all brown in colors. Okay, we painted all the faces and all that, and while we are at it I just wanna do repairing on that one that I kind of messed up a bit. One moment before I do that. And then we are going to, where is it? Okay, it's here. And we just need to cover it like, let's say like this. It will be okay. It's okay. Okay, so we did that. We are almost over. What we are left with is these arrows that are sticking out from the quiver, and for that I usually don't use the white, because white is really hard to paint, but I will use it this time because it will give some great look. It's just that it's really, this one is really doesn't have that much of a pigment. I mean, it's white, of course, it doesn't have much pigment, but it's really hard to paint with her, with it, her, it, I don't know what's the correct thing to say. And this will be a bit challenging because I don't want to use much water on it, and I want everything to dry quickly because we have to wash it. And for wash, before you wash miniatures, use wash on them, you have to make sure they are all dried up, and that is sometimes a bit challenging. Okay, so we are painting these quivers, arrows, and just go on the one side first, don't turn it yet. And no, this one is covering pretty nice. I am surprised how this is going well. Now you can also use different colors on this one, but I already painted a batch of these, 6 of these, and I use different colors, so this will fit in nicely, and when you are done with the back of that, then you go and paint the front. Okay, and the second one, of course, got really I mean, look at this. I really did a big no, what also you can do is you can always try and with a piece of paper just remove the most of it. Okay, I did not remove everything, but I will come back with the green and repair the stuff. Okay, and let's just paint all the other arrows sticking out, and we will see how will this work. Now, this paint is drying really fast, this white, I don't know why. Okay, and this one, and these are really cool miniatures, and I made a bit mistake on this one too, so I'll have to come and repair that one too. Let me just see if I can do some trick. No, I can't. Okay, so I need now to repair the boo-boo I did, and the boo-boo I did was this green one, and I have some of that paint already, and I have some of that blue I made a mistake with, so that's most fortunate for me. Okay, so we just come here and repair this. So basically, as you can see, you don't repair until you are completely done with the miniatures. Then you go and repair if you find some mistakes that you did. And this one over here has to be repaired, and that's that. Okay, now that this is done, all these are painted. Now we see that these arrows are all good, and the last step that we are left to do is paint these bases black. And when you paint them black, you really should be careful not to paint over the boots, of course. And you go all around, you don't have to go under it, it's not that much of an importance. And for that you will use black, just pure black color, and you shake it really well. As you can see, I don't use metallics because I mean, I use them in the painting. I paint with metallic colors, but I don't use them when the scale is this small, because it really makes look miniatures unnatural. It's really not that good of a look. So if you want to paint metallics, maybe I mean, if you want to, you can do it. There's no questions asked. But maybe you don't do it, because it really, I don't know, it looks strange. It just looks so out of place when you paint metallic small X and everything else. I don't know. It's just really not something that I'm fan of. But if you think it looks good, then who am I to judge you? And while we are doing this, all other paints are getting dried up and preparing for wash, and that's when we'll get some beautiful looking miniatures. Now I have some water over here that I have to smidge around. Okay, and that's one base painted, and we are like 90% done. What we are left with is just paint these bases and wash miniatures, and when they are dried they are all going to look awesome. Awesome possum. And I keep hitting the camera, and I'm sorry for that. Now I know this is not the best quality painting video, and by all means do tell me that if you mean, but I'll try to improve. I mean, I just started this kind of stuff, and I'm not really sure if I want to do live paintings anymore because they're really challenging, and I'm not really sure if they are of any use to anyone. So I can have to come and repair some of this stuff. Now you see, I used a bit too much water, and you see how this paint pooled all over left and right, and when you go over it, it will do it again, but it's okay. You see how it's doing it again. It's, I don't know if you can see it, it's kinda, but it's, you see this part over here, and you just have to be careful about stuff like that. And like for example, I just did this one and it's still not listening to me and not complying to my wishes. Maybe I have to add some more black to it. Okay, let's do this. Okay, let's continue painting. And sometimes you just have to go over and paint again if that paint pulls away, and that's fine. And if you make a mistake and go over some boots, that's really okay, don't bother, just paint over it and it's all good. Okay, so that is that. I know this is a weird time to do a live painting video because my targeted audience is mostly on the other side of the world, and they're probably sleeping now and they don't want to be bothered by some random dude painting miniatures live. But I just wanted to try it out, and usually I do videos when my wife is not around because we are living in a small apartment, and then I have to chase her away into other room, and I don't want to do that if I don't have to, because that's really not fair to her. And because I do this, and she supports me in my hobby, don't get me wrong, she even enjoys, we occasionally play games with our friends and just the two of us, so that's good. I don't bother her that much with my hobby because she also loves it, but she's not into it like I am. I am like 100% into it. It's just something that, you know, like some people go to gym to get their load off, and just to get some I don't know how to therapy, let's call it a therapy, and you know, you need a place to blow off your steam. That's the word I was looking for. You need some place to blow off your steam. Well, some people go and punch bag, other I don't know, go ride a bicycle maybe in nature or go hiking, and I just like this hobby of painting miniatures, playing board games. I really enjoyed this kind of hobby, and that's my vent, so I can be a good husband to my wife. And I just used up all my black color. I need to put out some more on the palette, and we are almost done. There's like 1.5 base left, and when we are done with that, we're going to wait a bit so that this black can dry, and then we are going to use washes, and I will be using 2 washes just to show you how the same miniature can look completely different, and it will give you some more of that randomness that you are really looking in miniatures. You don't want all your miniatures to look like they're copy of each other. You want to have some diversity in both the paints and the looks, and with washes you can make one paint with 2 different washes look completely different, for example. And that is really what is cool about wash. I really like working with washes. I think they are a blessing from the sky. When I first started painting, I did not have YouTube videos to learn me and to teach me, to learn from. I did not have those, and I was really going, me and my best man, we were really going on our own. We were just, I don't know, exploring, trying to do different stuff on our own, try to discover new techniques of painting, and here and there you meet new people and they know someone who paints. Like the town I live in, it's kind of small town. It's not small, but we call it a village because everyone knows everyone in my town. Like for example, my first neighbor, with who I was very good with, we played through our whole childhood. We grew up together, and there were these 2 girls that were come. Her parents were good with his parents, and they were hang out, and they had 2 daughters that they would bring to play. I never saw them, and you know how I know I never saw them? Because now, today, one of those 2 daughters is my wife. That's how the big Osijek is. It's really big, but it's a village. Everyone knows everyone. So my wife was, as a kid, playing next to my house, and we never met, like until 3 years ago or something like that. And I just found out that in this painting I did this. This one got hit by black paint, and so we have to cover this. And for that we need that yellow, no, not the dark flesh, yellow ochre that we used. And I hope, because it's black, that it will not make me too much trouble covering it over. And if I caught this sooner, we could start washing a bit faster, but I think we'll manage, because until I come to this mini, it will probably dry. Okay, so now it looks a different color, but it actually, when it's dried out, it will be the same one. So let's, and while we are at it, since we have this color now on our palette, we're just going to make it a bit stronger. Let's do it just to give it some better looking brownish color. Okay, I'm kind of messing up now, so I don't want to continue with this. Okay, and we are ready to begin with wash. And for the wash of these miniatures in particular, I use this Citadel large brush Citadel, and I kind of messed it up. It really does not have that fine point anymore, but it's really good for washing these little miniatures because it can load lots of wash in it, and that's what I'm looking in a brush when I try to do wash of the miniatures. Rambling all around. Okay, so now we are going to use first we are going to use Agrax Earthshade. Now you just give it a little shuffle, And when we are done, miniatures will look something like this, and they look kind of dirty. And this game is post-apocalyptic survival, so this is the look we are after. Like, for example, let me show you. And my god, this is like almost the same miniature. I already have some of painted minis, and let me show you, just put it like here, like so. You see this one, it is used washed, and this one is without the wash, and it's I think the same color. So basically we are going to get this when we are done, and it will look really cool. Okay, so you will open your wash and start washing. Now when you are applying wash, you want to be very I don't know how to say, grateful, rich with washing. Now you load your brush like with lots and lots of wash in it, and just go and be sure to smidge it all around the miniature. Now this is not enough, this is nearly not enough. Now you go like this, you go big, you put it in each cranny, nooks and crannies, and I don't know how to say all that, and you just give it a rich dab, and don't be afraid to use wash. Just give it overall, and make it so it goes in like this in some parts, so it will create some nice shadows for the miniature. And that's it. The one of 6 miniatures is done. Now make sure you did cover everything, and that's it. Look how much cooler it looks now, and when you look this one and this one, it's completely two different miniatures. Okay, now I will paint this one also with Agrax Earthshade, and the other 3 I will use Rakeland Fleshhide. Now Rakeland Fleshhide, it's also a brown wash, but it's in some kind of reddish specter of brown, and this one is just muddy, dirty brown. So basically you wanna change up a bit and wash with these 2 washes, and see the different looks you will get. So this green, so okay, this one is done, and this one I will leave and go with Rakeland Fleshhide, just so you can have comparison how the green looks different on each of these. And we have this one, and we are going to wash it really cool, just to make sure you get everything. You don't want to miss a spot, because if you miss it, then it will look kind of ugly, and you want your miniatures to look nice, of course. So we are done with the Rakeland Fleshhide. Let's just go some more over here. As I told you, be sure to go on each and every thing of the model, because if you miss it with the wash, it will not stand out. It will, I mean, it will stand out, and it will look a bit weird, like out of place. And we are done with Agrax Earthshade. We don't use this wash anymore, and now we are going to use Rakeland Fleshhide for other minis and give it a nice and firm shake. And be sure to clean your brush with water after you use color, of course. I don't need to talk to you about that, you know that kind of stuff. And now, as with an Agrax, you load like bunch of it on a brush, and you just go and start brushing it all over the miniature. And the difference in washes are subtle, but they will give you some variety that you are looking for when painting this kind of this much miniatures. You really look for a little subtle details in miniatures. Okay, so now we have two green colors that are washed with different washes. The one on the left, this one, yeah, let me show like this. This one is Agrax Earth Shade, and this one is Raikland Flash Hide. Now you see how this one is a bit on a lighter green, so to say. It's kind of kept it light green look, but this one, so because Agrax is a bit darker wash, and I really like how it turned out. So this is first time I'm trying this with the Raikland Flash Hide, and I will definitely use it in further painting of this Outlive miniatures. And only thing we are left to do now is to paint these two girls with Raikland Flash Hide and give them a completely different look. And the one I'm really satisfied with, I was not expecting anything, and what I got is really cool. I love the final result, and you cannot see that I'm washing because it's out of the camera. I'm sorry. I most of the time when I did this video, I watched the miniature and not much on the screen in front of me and see if you can see it or not. I'm still learning, and I hope you can forgive me that it's not the best painting video. It's basically, I want to just make a video that will give you an idea that you can paint this. These do really look scary on a first glance. You really look like, oh my god, there's like ton of work here, but we are painting for what, about an hour now or something like that, hour and 20, and we painted 6 miniatures. You can paint much more. Now we are painting hour and 20 now, just because I have to talk to you and guide you to a process of what I'm doing and how you can achieve this effect and this effect and stuff like that. But when you're painting alone, you don't have to do that. You don't have to talk to anyone and explain, okay, now we are doing this because this and that. You just go and paint, and the more you paint, the better you get, and the faster these all things will go. And by all means, if you want to, you can always, when one wash is done, you can always go with other wash maybe, and just give it like some different parts of shades. And you know, shading with 2 washes, it's also a really good idea, and it will give that muddy look that you are looking for in miniature of this, I don't know how to say it, of this theme, or let's say it, theme. And that's that. And these are the painted miniatures for Outlive. Now, when you're doing a batch painting, the best thing, okay, my tongue slipped. The best thing you can do is paint same miniatures. Like for example, don't put this guy near these guys. Just if you want to paint this guy, then take 5, 10, 2, 4, I don't know how many you ever want to paint in one batch of these, and just go and paint all of the same guys, and that way you will make sure that they don't all get the same color of capes and whatnot. And that is that. Now I just realized I missed few parts, like I did. Okay, so these quivers and these arrows, I kind of missed few parts, and you just go and repair that, and that's that. You repair them and you're good. And of course, keep your brushes clean, and don't forget to keep them safe because they will last you longer. And that's that. And let me just flip camera back to me just for a second here. Okay, so okay, what I have to do is put it like so. Hello, are we here? Oh yes. Oops. And I'm now doing okay, so, and let me just do this thing with the camera where I go to configure video, camera control, and I just get the focus out, so we don't need any more focus on miniatures. Now we need to focus on me. And that was that. Thank you all for watching. Wait, I have to press OK. Yeah, okay. And that was that. Thank you all for watching this live video, and I hope you like it, and I hope that maybe next time, if you are able, you will join me in this painting and talk to me, because I was kind of bored painting alone like this. But everything to show you that the painting of these cool miniatures is not that hard, and anyway, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And that's that. Until next time. Pozdrav.